Welcome back to Hello, ladies,
Oh, hey.
where feminism meets pro wrestling. We are slightly out of our minds. I am Sabrina.
And I'm MJ.
And if you're not watching this, you missed whatever it was we just did.
Also, I love that we don't plan these things. We talk about it like a half second, and we're just like, do it. All right, do it. Yep.
Yep. Guess and test. The best things really are improv, right?
That's right.
Is this a podcast or an improv group? Who knows? Not
I was
us.
I was gonna do jazz fingers, spirit fingers, but that is not improv.
I mean, it could be.
True.
Well, today, since it is WrestleMania season, we
Yes.
will be discussing the WrestleMania card and doing our predictions. Well, cards, because there's two nights.
Predictions that I might add, you will be seeing in person,
Yeah.
live.
My 12-year-old dream has come true. It took many a year to do so.
For people who aren't watching, Sabrina's getting her ass kicked by a cat's tail.
Yeah, yes, just bam, bam. She is.
Oh, wait, one thing before we keep going.
Yep.
If you want to hear other predictions we have for wrestling shows, our thoughts on wrestling, especially in relation to feminism and other fun topics, give us a like, share the podcast. Feel free to subscribe, and we're also on social media channels as well. So come hang out.
Yes. Good. Look at MJ. She's just like, I'm here and I know what's going on. Unlike,
Well, you were getting the shit kicked out of you with a cat's tail, so
yeah,
a
back
little
with it.
distracting. Also, I got juiced up from those spirit fingers. They got me going.
I got the Holy Spirit in my fingers.
That's right. I was gonna say smells like finger spirit. Doesn't sound right, but I still said it.
I'm not going to break down the things that could mean. I'm just going to move this cat who keeps coming back.
I was
And
like, I'll say like a funny smells like teen spirit thing. And I was like, nope, doesn't work there. Nope.
no, it really does not.
But what are we spirited about? WrestleMania.
WrestleMania.
So
So,
Triple H released on social media. Was it this morning or last night? It's all a blur to me.
I don't know. I'm not sure which. We'll
Well, in
say,
the last 24 hours,
yeah.
he's posted like the official cards for night one and night two, which was cool to see because literally good luck finding a bathroom break at all during this show, Sabrina. They need to have an intermission because it looks incredible from top to bottom, both
And
days.
they do those packages that probably will be a good bathroom break time. Like,
Oh, that's true. That's true. That's right. WrestleMania is like the big times.
yeah, I'm sure they're gonna have like, and here's a prime energy drink, not cartoon, advertisement. Da 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 da. And while that's going on, I'll be like, the
So
bathroom.
I've never been to WrestleMania, but I have been to SummerSlam, and it was so humid because it was in Tennessee in July or whatever. It was crazy. And I was so mad they canceled Seth Rollins's match, even though it was with Matt Riddle, so whatever, but still. And I was so mad because they canceled it, and I really wanted to see Seth at the time wrestle. I'd never seen Seth wrestle live. And they actually had like a little mini brawl, if you remember, like in the crowd and stuff. It lasted like 3 minutes. And by
Oh
the
yeah.
time I finally was like, I can't hold it any longer, and went to the bathroom and then came back, that fight was over and done in the crowd. So
Hmm.
I couldn't even win, even when I thought I was supposed to go to the bathroom at SummerSlam. So you'll have more breaks at Mania, though.
Let's hope. That's
Yeah, you will.
um yeah, it's going to be in the 50s in Philly this weekend.
Oh, wait, is it an open stadium?
Yep.
Ah, shit. Oh,
I'm hoping it's not raining, but we'll see. I do have a bright pink unicorn poncho, which I will be bringing with me since that's one of the few things I think I can bring into the damn arena. So,
right. I love the fact that you're going to be amongst a sea of like wrestling fans wearing a rainbow unicorn poncho. That's pretty sick.
Yeah, yeah. I you'll be well, I mean, I'm not on the right side for you to be able to see me, but if they do a crowd shot, you might be able to find me. Everybody else will be soaked and I'll just be bright and colorful.
Are you bringing a sign?
No, I am not.
That's fair.
Yeah. I one in Philly, I don't want to take the chance of blocking the wrong person's view.
Okay.
And I don't want to have to carry shit. That's always what it comes down.
And if it rains, that'd be a bitch too. You know, that leaky, wet sign getting pen all over you and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's true.
I will, however, be personally covered in glitter, so
There you go. All right. So for night one, what do you think the opening match is going to be, or have they announced what the opening match will be?
I don't think they've announced it. So the way I have a feeling the way that I found the card list is probably its running order. Um
Okay.
or maybe maybe it's not. I don't know. I think they might be opening with Ray and Dragon Lee versus Santos and Dom Dom.
Okay.
That could be a strong opener. I mean, with having Ray and Dominic in there, not to throw shade at the other two participants, but I mean that's why people want to see that match. It's Ray and Dom.
I keep getting the nights confused. Is night one when we're having Bailey and Io?
No, that's night two.
So
All the other women's matches are night one.
got it. I feel like I could see the way that they've been trying to stagger. It seems like they've been opening with a lot of women's matches. So I could almost see them opening with Becky and Rhea on night one. What do you think? Too early in the card?
I think it might be too early in the card.
Okay.
I think it'd be more likely to see Bianca, Naomi, Jade versus Damage Control opening it. Um
Okay.
I have a feeling that Rhea versus Becky is going to be the um not the closer, but like the one right before it.
Second to last, yeah.
Jay versus Jimmy could open it. Like that would be a solid opener.
Oh, that would be a good opener. But I could also see the six woman match being,
Hmm.
yeah, that would be, I mean, that would instantly like pop Philly so hard to have those ladies like square off like that straight out the gate.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, the brothers too. That's the thing that's so tough. I look at this whole card, I'm like, what match order are you possibly gonna give these?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. As I'm looking over this, I can't yeah, I don't know. My guess is Jay versus Jimmy will be the opener.
Okay. Who do you think's winning that one?
Yeet?
Or no yeet?
No. I think Yeet is going to be winning that one. How about you?
I would be shocked. Yeah, well, because spoiler alert, my prediction for the tag match with Rock and Roman and Cody and Seth is I think that the Rock and Roman Reigns are going to win. So I feel like Jey Uso has to win.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think Rock and Roman are winning night one.
Mm-hmm. If I have any hope that Cody's pulling it out night two, then I have to believe that the
Same.
Bloodline is
Hmm.
winning that tag match.
Yep. Hell yeah.
Also, I really don't like The Rock being named Final Boss, but I fucking love everything else that he's doing. Like the name Final Boss feels corny, but I love this iteration of The Rock, everything else. But the Final Boss name is so like, I don't know. It feels like trying too hard. Like it feels like you're trying to appeal to gamers when they're just like, what is this? I don't know.
Yeah. Um, Up until like obviously I've always thought The Rock could play a bad guy in a movie or whatever, but I never thought he
Mhm.
could play like a believable killer until
Yeah.
that promo where talked directly to Cody's mom and did the "You're welcome" line. I was just like, occasionally I'm doing stuff. It's what a serial killer says right before they start peeling off your skin. Like that's what he was giving. And occasionally I'll be like washing the dishes or whatever, and that'll go through my head, and I'll just go, "Ugh."
Sabrina, I know you're a fan of true crime. I thought of you when I saw an interview with Mick Foley earlier that I should have sent you, but he was talking about how what The Rock needs to do is put that weight belt on eBay. He's like, if my Cactus Jack shirts go for $500, then he'd be able to make a killing off of that. I'll put it on eBay. But I thought of you in like true crime because of like Cody's blood is literally on that belt. And I was like, can you imagine that getting in the wrong person's hands? They have Cody Rhodes' fucking DNA.
Yeah, yeah. Just making like that's
Yeah,
them chipping it off the
it freaked me
plane.
out. I was just like, people are too fucked up. I would not put my DNA out in the world like that.
Absolutely not. No way. Especially if you're someone who travels a lot for work. That's too easy to make you seem like a serial killer.
That's true, yeah.
Um,
Okay, what about the ladies? What about Jade, Bianca, Naomi?
I mean, they're definitely winning, right? Like,
That would be I would be shocked. It would make no fucking sense to me.
yeah. And I mean, last year WrestleMania made no fucking sense. So I mean, they
Hmm.
could do it, but I have a little bit more faith with it being Triple H. I
Yeah,
don't foresee these three, especially like the media attention that those three women together are getting and will get, they keep
yeah,
them together, is unmatched.
right. And I think that well, Bianca's never lost at Mania for starters, and I don't think this would be the one that she would lose. It would,
Technically,
I mean,
neither has Jade.
yeah, yeah, seriously, right? And what a great like match for Jade to have too. Like she can't look weak this early in the game. Like she can't, there'd be no way, it would make no sense. The only way that I could see them spinning it would be if they were actually going to set Bianca Belair up for a heel turn because she's never lost at Mania. It could be a really great leverage to be like, well, I didn't fucking lose this for us, you know? But it's like Bianca's also like the female John Cena. So for me, I'm like, as much as in my heart it'd be kick ass to see Bianca as a heel, I don't see it happening anytime soon.
No, I think she might have a career as a baby face, because of her connection with children, quite frankly. Like being a
Mm-hmm.
female John Cena. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Um, I don't think, who do you think would be winning the Ray and Dragon Lee versus Santos and Dom Dom match?
I think it's gonna be Dom Dom.
Me too. I think him and Santos will be taking that one home. And I
Oh,
feel
go ahead.
I feel like because obviously stuff's brewing in the Judgment Day, and Dom winning this match with someone outside of the Judgment Day, oof, like I feel like that is going to add fuel to this like growing dissension within the ranks.
I love that you called it out. That was exactly what I was gonna say. I was gonna see if you saw the little backstage clip of the Judgment Day, right? Where they're talking like that. And it just seems like they all need to win, which still makes me think that Damian is gonna cash in his Money in the Bank briefcase.
Did you see what they're doing with the tag titles?
No.
So it's the ladder match, but both belts are up separately. So there will be
Mm.
two pinfalls or two like
Oh,
winners. So it's possible that someone wins both, but it's also possible
we
that
separate
Judgment Day
them.
retains one of them and loses another or loses both.
Wow. I just wish they would unify them. I'm so sick of them being separated like that.
I think I think they're just separating them and one will and I think that'll be really good for the tag division. Like
Okay.
they'll be able to like gross on the separate brands.
Okay.
And we'll see more instead of having to I love Judgment Day. They're great. I love seeing them on my screen. Anytime I know that they're going to be on TV, I watch, but
Yeah.
um I think it'll be really beneficial for another tag team to have them and be able to do whatever.
I agree, but with a tinge of saltiness in the fact that the women have a tag belt that doesn't really get defended or really hyped up or talked about that much, you know? So I guess it's kind of like, oh yeah, I'm split because I complained about this either last time or the time before on our podcast where I was like, we have these tag belts that and like all the tag teams that are getting thrown in this tournament are kind of like wacky. Like some of them are just like, okay, well, it's obvious that whoever like Austin Theory and Grayson Waller are gonna make it through. Like all of the teams that are solidified in that tag match are the obvious choice. There wasn't ever one that I was like, ooh, gee, I wonder. It was like it was very obvious, which means they need to sprinkle some more love in their tag division.
Well, Pretty Deadly didn't make it in, which was like, I think the only one that people were like, huh, about.
Really? That didn't surprise me just because they haven't really like it sucked that ever since they've come to the main roster, it's like, what are we doing with them? Which is my biggest gripe with what they always do to NXT call ups too.
Or like the tag division in general has never, and I shouldn't say has never, it has not been one of their strongest divisions in a while. Like when you had
Yeah.
the New Day, the Bar, and um the Usos, like
Mm-hmm.
those three, and then like various other tag teams as well. Like there
Sure.
was like a boom again. Like I feel like WWE does this thing where because we saw it in the Attitude Era when we had the Dudleys, the Hardys, and Edge and Christian, like three solid teams that were always fighting each other but could fight other teams as well, like Too Cool, TNA, the Acolytes. They don't only seem to really book their tag team division well when they have three teams that they like rely heavily on. I don't know why that is.
It's interesting you say that because there's so many things that times they've done that throughout history. Like, for example, like the IC belt for years, just kind of being like, it is what it is. And then you get strapped it to Gunther, and then all of a sudden it has this
Mhm.
weight and this value to it. But then they kind of cycle through where it's like, well, that belt means nothing. Now this belt means nothing. So it kind of, yeah. And I feel for it because I do feel like tag teams have always kind of gotten shafted in that way, with the exception of like certain peaks of it
Yeah.
being hot.
Yeah, exactly. In overall, usually AEW has done tag team wrestling better, in my opinion. Certainly trios. Um, but that's neither here nor there. Who do you so in the ladder match itself, it's the Judgment Day, Awesome Truth, DIY, New Day, New Catch Republic, and Theory and Grayson Waller. I think that's A Town Down Under. Yeah, that's what it is.
Get out of the
That's their name, A Town Down
what
Under.
they're calling them.
Yep.
What I saw some kind of dirt sheet headline about Theory not being able to compete or something. Was that I haven't of course now it's popping in my head right now that we're filming the podcast, but it could have just been like dirt sheet fodder or like a plug for the storyline or something, to kind of push it or something.
Yeah, I mean, it seems weird if since Triple H just announced within 24 hours that this is the final card, if it for
Sure.
them to be like, but Theory can't compete, because they would have known that last night.
Right, right. I feel like I saw it after I saw Triple H's announcement, but I don't know. Who knows? It could have just been somebody who wrote something to try to make it popular on the internet and get clicks.
Yeah, or they could have just been putting it out into the universe because they hate Austin Theory. Anything's possible.
Like a digital voodoo doll.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I will say I'm really excited to see specifically in this match Johnny Gargano and what he's going to do in a ladder match. Um,
Ooh, okay.
I don't necessarily think DIY is going to get one of those tag belts, but I think that this is going to do wonders for DIY in general.
I feel like whoever wins, if the belts, if one belt goes to Judgment Day, I almost feel like the other belt has to go to a face team, right? Like,
I think Awesome Truth.
I know, I know. I just feel like, especially with the history with Truth and the Judgment Day, it's such a perfect like parallel to that, and it would also could help exacerbate that storyline in like the best way possible.
Agree. Agree. And Truth is on like the biggest run of his career, basically. For like he said that's how he feels. So I mean, lean into that.
What if Truth and Miz get both sets of tag belts? Can you imagine the look on Damien's face, he would shit a brick.
His eyes will just bug out of his head.
Yeah, I could totally picture that.
Um, yeah, that Looney Tunes sound, like when someone's eyes, like a cartoon character's eyes bug out, and there's that like horn behind them, like "Rawr," will definitely happen.
I feel like that backstage Judgment Day segment was hitting. It's been sitting with me. I've been thinking about it a lot too, because I'm like, what if they just all fucking screw the pooch? Do you know what I mean? Like, what if they all just fucking fail in theory? And like, what if Rhea's the only one? I feel like if that happened, the only one that would win would be Rhea. She would retain because she's previously had that dialogue with them where she's like loosely basically saying, "What the fuck's wrong with the rest of you? I have my shit together," you know. And it puts her in that leader, position in the Judgment Day as well.
Yes. Yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, speaking of Rhea versus Becky, I think Rhea is pulling this one out of the bag.
I
Um,
really do.
I wouldn't be mad if Becky won, like, because I love both of those women. I would not be mad,
Mm-hmm.
but I think because Rhea's held the belt for a long time now.
Yeah.
And I feel like when she loses it, it should be to make someone.
Yeah.
Like not necessarily Tiffany Stratton, but someone like her. Like,
Yeah. I know. Or even like to give, I still feel like it's going to come back to Liv somehow. Like, I feel like they're going to reignite that whole thing.
it could be I mean, there's so many amazing
Chelsea.
talented women. Yes, there's so many amazing talented women on that roster. There's so many possibilities.
Yeah. Agreed. I mean, even like an Indy Hartwell, right? Like the ultimate face, especially as we're seeing like this divide between her and Candace.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's only propelling Indy as a bigger baby face in contrast with how fucked up shit Candace said.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, did
I mean,
you
especially because you could totally bill it like Australia versus Australia kind of energy.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Aussie,
with
Aussie,
Indy and
Aussie.
Rhea. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. The good Aussie versus the bad Aussie.
there you go.
They fight for Australia's soul.
Jesus. Oh God.
Go
Uh,
really cheesy 80s wrestling with it. That's all I'm saying.
oh yeah, with like I almost picture like a 80s montage, it's giving like Rocky going up the stairs energy and training.
Mm-hmm. And for whatever the referee has to dress as a kangaroo.
I fucking knew you were gonna say that.
You
As soon as
can't
you said
you
the referee, I was like, is she gonna say dress as a kangaroo?
Yeah, because it can't be a real kangaroo because one, animal abuse, and two, kangaroos are mean. So you don't want a kangaroo like busting their faces.
What do we think are the chances that MJF shows up at WrestleMania?
Almost none.
That's how I'm feeling.
Because I think it would be known if he wasn't like in AEW. Like that would have been leaked if his contract expired.
Yeah, I have only thing I've seen pop up is saying that like it's not like he wanted to be back sooner, but the injuries are taking longer to heal than they anticipated.
Yeah. And because of that, that's just adding on time to his contract.
Right? That's true.
So I think Tony Khan doesn't always choose to enact that, like
hmm
going off the past with wrestlers, but especially if he thought there was even a slimmer, like the slightest tinge of a chance that MJF would show up
Yes.
for WrestleMania, he'd be like, no, you owe me however many months, fucker. Like, absolutely not.
Also, one thing that we don't have to talk about if we don't want to, but we are literally the day after CM Punk went on that podcast and said a lot of things about AEW. I don't know if I'll listen to the full thing because I love CM Punk, and this happened so many times in the last like 2 years where I just hear something that feels like a fucking kick to my non-existent dick, where I'm just like, oh, this just hurts, because I start to feel like I go on a high where I'm like, rallying for Punk and like, hell yeah, that's like one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. And then it's basically like a literal face palm at a certain point where I'm like, what is going on? You know, where he made comments about MJF too or whatever, saying that he was really just kind of appealing to a certain demographic on the internet, kind of a thing. Some comment like that. And so that kind of makes me feel like unless he's kind of yanking our chain, it doesn't seem like MJF's coming anytime soon to WWE.
Yeah. And again, I'm not sure MJF would come to WWE because he wouldn't be afforded at least at this stage, he wouldn't be afforded the stuff that Tony Khan affords him at this point.
Totally.
Um,
I think he will in the future, but I don't think it'll be on this contract. Well,
yeah.
yeah, I think he's supposedly already secretly signed already, so.
And I imagine he'll want to see how it plays out, Triple H's reign, and how like that shakes out. Like, yeah, he's starting to let people do promos where they don't have to they don't have to stick to a script.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not going to be MJF.
Agreed.
So,
All
all
right. So
right.
that's what we're thinking for the tag team match. Are we both in agreement that one belt is going to be Awesome Truth and one will be Judgment Day?
Yes, I think so.
God, there's just a part of me that's secretly pulling for them to pull out two belts for Awesome Truth because that would just the look on our Truth's face, the Miz's face, Davey's and Finn's face. It would be like, oh my God, that's like scrapbook worthy fucking energy right there.
The way Truth would like run around that ring, like
Yeah.
high knees all the way around, holding the belts. Like,
And he'd be like in shock, I feel like, for a minute. And it would just play out in the most comedic, like, yeah.
yeah. Yeah, 100%. Um, all right. So then of course we have Gunther versus Sammy.
It's it's not gonna be Sammy.
Yeah, I think it's Gunther too.
Do you think go ahead, go ahead. No, I want to see what
If
you
it
have to
had
say.
been Gable, if it had been Chad Gable, I would have thought Gable, but
Okay. Did you watch Raw?
yes.
Okay. I only saw clips of it, but the part with like where he pulls out or Gunther like drags out Chad Gable.
Mm-hmm.
What I do love Gable as a face, but what if it was like a heel turn moment? Like what if Gable ends up costing Sammy the match? Like what if it was almost like Gunther and Gable were in cahoots the whole time when he was like dragging him out like that and all that stuff, and then Gable ends up costing Sammy the match? Like what if this whole thing was a facade to just get Gable closer to the IC belt? Or at least keep Sammy away from it.
I could see that. Like now
Mm-hmm.
that you're saying that, I could definitely see that. That would be like some nuclear heat.
I know. I'd love it so much.
Yeah. That would be, yeah.
I haven't heard anybody else say that, but as I was watching those clips last night, I was like, this feels funny to me. It's felt kind of weird ever since Gable offered to train Sammy for this match. You know what I mean?
I think no matter what, like we're eventually gonna get Sammy versus Gable.
Yeah.
Um Even if it's that Gable doesn't get involved and Sammy loses, and that just like pushes Gable over the edge to be like, I knew you couldn't do this, like
Yeah.
bada, bada.
Totally.
Um
It should have been me.
yeah.
I am kind
Um
of bummed though, because I feel like we could see Gunther and Gable at SummerSlam, but that was the match I wanted to see at Mania.
Same. Although if he wasn't going to be losing, I guess whatever. Blah blah blah.
I mean, I feel like the amount you and I talk about the tag division and the frustrations that's there both on the men and women's side, but like there's so much singles star power right now that makes it so hard.
Yeah. There's so many good wrestlers right now.
Yeah.
Like I remember 7 years ago, like when John Cena realized his career was winding down and he was really concerned about who was going to step up because there was no one that was going to be the face like him. And like you had Roman didn't hit that quite yet, neither did Seth or Becky. And then
Mhm.
like finally like Vince understood that like, oh, I guess I should have been building stars along the way and not
Right.
just so thankfully
Relying on the old guard.
yeah, thankfully Triple H had been working behind the scenes like with NXT like building up people, but oh, it took a bit for them to like earn their bones on the main roster. Like,
Yeah,
are we ready
crazy.
to go into night 2?
Oh wow, we already finished night 1?
We did.
Okay, heck yeah, let's do it.
All right. Where I guess let's start with one of the least exciting matches of the night, in my opinion. Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits versus Karrion Kross and the Authors of Pain.
I think this is your bathroom break, unfortunately. And I think a lot of it is because the build has been kind of like weird. Like it's been kind of like on and off where it's like we're gonna feature them this week. And then
For
oh shit, we forgot.
months.
Yeah. Yeah. Weird.
I think that's going to be the number 2 match. And not because people will be taking a number 2, but that'll be in the death slot.
Yeah, I think you're right.
My
But I
money
think
is,
some of the
oh,
people are
sorry.
like not even give a shit because they're like, I'm on fucking WrestleMania. Like I don't think Karrion Kross, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think he's ever been on sorry, I'm letting Freddie up.
Oh, it's fine. Yeah, I don't think Karrion Kross has been on WrestleMania as of yet.
I was just letting him out of the room. I saw him staring. Oh.
No, I do think you're right though. I don't think Karrion Kross has been on the main roster and WrestleMania yet, unless it was like the opening card, like the
Or
pre-show.
like a battle royal type thing. Yeah, like yeah, exactly,
Yeah,
like a pre-show.
yeah. But yeah, I think Karrion Kross and the Authors of Pain will be the ones winning this because Triple H has such a big hard on for Karrion Kross.
Okay, I'll go with that then.
Mm, I convinced
I
you
had
with the I convinced you with the hard on.
that sounds horrible. But yeah, I did not I did not have any skin. This also sounds horrible now after that. I was gonna say I don't have any skin in this game. But yeah. Oh god. R.I.P. Tyler's car interior right now.
Right? Right. He's just like, damn it, guys.
Thought this was gonna be a tame one, did you?
Mhm. He should know by now. He should know. No consuming of beverages during the during the podcast. Listening.
Too funny.
Mhm.
All right, I think you're right. I think that's gonna be in the second slot. Do we have any guesses for what we think could open the show?
Um, there's a few this night. Maybe LA Knight versus AJ Styles. That'll probably be a decently strong one.
Ooh. I'm excited for that one. I'm glad that LA Knight is on this card.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm happy AJ Styles is too. I love AJ Styles and his soccer mom hair.
Hell yeah, we do. I feel like I
This-
kind of have a little bit of that right now, the way it's hanging in my face.
yeah, but you're like the cool mom.
I'm like the edgy soccer mom. My kids also take ceramics on the weekends.
Mhm. Yep, yep. You know, that way they can replace all the stuff they've broken in the house playing soccer.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Got to
Um,
make a return on investment.
yep. Um, do you think LA Knight or AJ Styles will be winning at the Mania?
Damn. I'm leaning towards LA Knight. What about you?
LA Knight, yeah.
Yeah.
I
They
I
haven't really been making AJ look good though. So I could see AJ winning if they want to extend this out to SummerSlam. Like if they're like, we don't fucking know what we're doing with LA Knight. You know, like either if they have a rematch, then the opposite one will win at SummerSlam.
yeah.
So but I don't know. I don't know what they're doing with LA Knight lately, to be honest.
I also think if Roman does lose, which is my prediction, they will like that frees up so many like because I think he's gonna take a break for a while, you know. I think
Yeah.
the tribal chief is gonna go to his tribal island and rest up a little bit. And then
Lay in his tribal hammock.
yes, yes. Um, so we'll be able to see matches then like LA Knight versus Cody for the championship and get those feuds, like fresh feuds after what, 3 years? So
I'm
um
ready. I'm fucking
yeah,
ready for it.
yeah. So I think LA Knight will be, you know, he might be in the title picture for SummerSlam.
Yeah. That's pretty sick to think about.
Yeah. Honestly, with Roman no longer the champ, like it's going to open up, like whether it happens now or it happens later, it's going to open up the floodgates for new matches, which will be phenomenal. No
Yeah.
pun intended with AJ. Um, because we have all these, like in the men's division, just like in the women's, there's all of these main event players that like we haven't been able to see be there because like we've already seen Roman versus freaking everyone and we
Yeah.
know how he wins.
Mm-hmm. Yep. God, I really hope that Roman loses. I'm ready for it.
Yeah, same.
He did what he needed to do. You know, he got an intense, he grew so much as a person, as a character, as a fixture in WWE. I just feel like other than if we just have him in place to beat records, what else can he accomplish at this point? He's done everything.
Yeah. And
I think this frees him up to face The Rock at SummerSlam too.
agree. And because they don't need it to be for a championship belt. And if it was for a championship belt, we all know Roman's retaining because The Rock can't be the champ. He's not going to be able to be there all the time to defend it. Not that Roman's there all the time, but you know.
God, am I gonna have to go out to Ohio this summer? Because I've still never seen The Rock wrestle, and I that's on my list.
Mm. I feel like I've seen him before. I know I've seen him cut promos live before.
But see, okay, going back to night one, all the Ohio people in the game, we have, of course, Johnny Gargano. Could he actually win so he could be a tag team champion going into SummerSlam? Because I keep
His is
thinking
from
about that
Ohio.
too. Yeah, yeah. So I keep thinking about that too because I know he's from there. So I'm like, I could also see Awesome Truth and DIY walking away with belts because then they could be like this goofy super group of like the what do they call themselves? Degeneration
Regeneration X.
Regeneration X. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, it cracks me up so much. So I mean, I could almost see them. They'd be like almost like the super friends of the tag division, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. This is me fantasy booking at this point. I would lose my shit, but I don't know. I just have the Judgment Day, that promo is just sitting with me in a weird way, that backstage segment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, let's jump into that. So yeah, I agree with you. I think WrestleMania might be when Damien's cashing in.
Yeah.
Obviously on Drew versus Seth.
Yeah.
Um, and I could
And
see
Damien and Drew would be so good at
because that'll
SummerSlam
happen
too.
Clash at the Castle.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
That's coming up.
That
So
is coming up.
especially